From Los Angeles and Nashville, get ready to go behind the scenes with Entertainment Dudes. What happens when you pair a director, a voice actor in a world, and some of the most interesting people in entertainment? You're about to find out. If you're catching the audio-only version, we're also available on video. Hello. Welcome back to Entertainment Dudes. I'm Cam Cornelius from Yollywood.
Yes.
Yollywood, Nashville, Tennessee.
I'm Jason Crossman, all the way from Hollywood. Please forgive this early morning. For me, it's early. It's like 11:30 in the morning here in LA, and I'm not used to getting up that early. So
they have actually stuff you can put under your eyes that
I'll just hold
stretches them.
I'll just hold it. It's good. Hurry, go while it looks nice.
We've got an exciting show today.
Yes.
We have Liz Atherton, who was my former agent. She started up a new company called CastVoices, and she knows all things agenting and voiceover, and oh man, it's going to be such a great show.
Yes, this is going to be really helpful if you're trying to figure out, what do I need to do to get into voiceover acting? How do I find an agent? And then some exciting news she's got about a new company that she's started and how it's going to serve you as voiceover talent.
Woo-hoo!
And so we're really excited to have her on. She is a bundle of joy, as we discovered already. So I'm sure you're going to like her. I'm sure you're going to like her as much as we do. So
Liz Atherton.
We need a drum roll.
Whoa. Hello. Wait. What's going on here? Okay, there we go.
That was it.
Yes.
That's all you get to see.
Let me go back to this. Whoa, hello. What's going on here? Woo, there we go. Okay. Just having fun with the software, folks.
I did it. How you doing, guys?
Good. How are you?
We're going to put that flashing lights disclaimer before the show. So,
okay. Morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Wow.
Awesome.
Liz, it's so great to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. Like we've said, we've already started out with a bang. We're in for a really good time, I'm thinking.
Look at her face. It glows. You like the sunshine. You have this a radiant smile and everything. It's just amazing. Take a moment to just show off that radiance.
Oh, honey. Cam, I am well aware of the theme.
I need to find it. I just hold my face. I think it looks good.
I'm just saying, it does work. I am a living testament. So, the next time you've got early morning, $9.95 down there at your local grocery store. You can the wrinkle straightening cream.
Now, Liz, you're from Texas. I'll tell you, the first story. You had a tag talent agency, and you and Jimmy worked together. And I remember when Jimmy called me to say, "Hey, we'd love for you to be on the roster and stuff." And my entire favorite part about that was the rooster crowing in the background when he called me.
Is that real? Is that real? No way.
It's true. Roosters, chickens. I mean, if you'd like to go on a tour, the squirrels are out front right now. Yeah, there's a little bit of country living around here, and I'm good with that. Doesn't mean I got some smarts or some wit about me, but I'm good with
Okay.
You're not the only one. We had a casting director one time that we were in the middle of a conversation, and the rooster was just having a field day on my floor. The casting director, it just stopped it all. It was just hilarious. So it's awesome. Cam, it has always been my joy to know you.
You as well.
And Jason, we'll get there.
Give it a lot of time. I mean, a lot of time.
Took me a while too, Liz.
Yeah, not too long, Cam. 11 years.
Yeah, something like that. It wasn't bad, and we finally started talking.
It took my parents 32 years, so I mean, you guys are good. I always said my family moved about 18 times when I was growing up, and I found them every time. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, my dad would say, "Let's play hide and go seek." Jason, you hide, and we'll move. Count to 2 million. 1, 2,
3, 4.
Oh, I love this game. I love this game.
That was so funny. So let's start in the earlies. Your dad, Jody Lyons, arguably like one of the best jingle producers in the entire world ever. Talk about that and what it was like growing up and with that aspect of the entertainment industry.
And that is really kind of you to bring up my dad. Yeah, he was a pretty prolific jingle writer. You know, he kind of ended up starting a lot of the business. He would do a bunch of radio IDs and now would be promos and auto thing. You know, he started all that stuff at Pam's back in Dallas back in the day. I was in the studio as an embryo, probably my finest hour. But I did go and sing some commercials when we make manna bread like we're making it for our own kids. The fact that I can remember singing that when I was like 5, I'm sure it's out somewhere. But yeah, he would bring me on a couple of, and then one time, bless his little heart, he brought me in on a live session. And this live session, everybody was having to sing a cappella, and I sucked at it. I was in a room with all these amazing jingle singers, and he was trying to give me, you know, the benefit of the doubt. And, you know, I was terrible. I didn't get invited back to that. But that's, you know, me and karaoke in my living room, we rock the world. But
I want to share a taste here just so people know what we're talking about.
WOOW Radio loves you all.
So that kind of stuff.
Wow. Oh, wow. What a great find. Oh,
so, yeah, we also found some photographs.
Oh, yes.
Behind the mic. And so, yes, some great stuff there.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. You know, what was cool about my dad is that we all loved music. I mean, I started taking piano lessons. I think I was 5, and I took for about 7 years. And, you know, I dabbled in music, but I love music, but it wasn't my forte.
Right.
And yet he supported me. Although, given the bucket list item, I would so rock it in front of 100,000 people on stage and just think I'm the best thing since sliced bread. But he was really, really talented at what he did. And then both of my parents were really good at letting us do what we wanted to do.
Right.
You know, we weren't forced into anything. And, you know, I went to college and started in, I met kind of a little story before college. I think I was 19 and a friend of my dad was coming to town, and he was the guy that wrote Batman.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's me and him, and we're having dinner. And he says to me, you know, you really should do voiceover. I was like, you know, what the hell, you know, and I blew it off. You know, I don't think I'm a voiceover artist, but gosh almighty, given the chance way back when I was 19 years old, I mean, I would have been ahead of all of this, and that would have been a really cool career choice.
Right.
And so I work on it on the other side.
Yeah. So what that's an interesting segue. You started your career not doing voiceover talent. What was your schooling? I mean, your training, you obviously had a career change. What brought that on?
So I have a degree in management with an emphasis on personnel management, organizational behavior.
And a minor in math and psychology.
And I do what perfect credentials to do what I do. I get to work with the crazies and help them figure out how they should get paid. So I'm right there with you folks. Anyway, I started working in a high-tech company, and I worked in their business development area. Well, I worked in finance first, and then moved from that into the development area. I really liked the guys who were creating, and I could help really good them forecast their numbers. And in the meanwhile, I started having really cute babies. And when my babies were 4, I put them with the talent agency, and they rocked it. They just started hitting it off, you know, the charts. But there were some things that happened there that I wasn't pleased with. And I was like, well, shit, I can do this. and as it would be, a local talent agency went for sale. And I reached out, and her lead agent and I bought it. And I was the silent partner for many years because I was still working. You know, I still had to feed babies and eat. And she ran it great for several years. And then she just kind of had a turn to the left, and I had a turn to right at where I was. And so I came back and I took over the agency. And when I did, I believe I was one of the first talent agencies in the world to have a website. You know, I'm a productivity person from mind. And I had just come off of a $20 million product where I was the project manager. And, you know, I just have a real interest in technology. And I would believe I was the first, if not the only, talent agency where the talent could actually go in and update their own resumes and keep it live and keep it current. And so, you know, that was some really, when you're in the throes of it, you don't go, oh, look what a trendsetter I am. But, you know, I go back 20 and look at it now. I'm like, huh, that's kind of a cool resume tick. You know, I mean, it's fun. I am certain, although I'm sure somebody will argue with me, but I am certain I was the first agent that came through and said, don't slate unless they ask you to. Do not slate at the front. I am almost certain. And, you know, it started changing the way things happen. Now, a lot of people choose to slate or not to slate, but my logic behind that was, if you're going to step into the room slating, hi, my name is Liz Atherton, and that listener doesn't like the way I slate, I'm done. Why not come in and say, I think you ought to be buying a Starbucks car because it is always fueling you, whatever. Improv is not my game. But so
I beg to differ. That was amazing.
I suddenly want some Starbucks.
I know. Hey, that's a great idea. Speaking of sponsorship possibilities on entertainmentdudes.com.
I'm going to have to blur that logo out later, Jason.
Yeah. Oh, here. Sorry. There we go, Cam.
Yes. Thank you very much.
I'll show the backside of this delicious cup. If you'd like to try some delicious, you'll really, really love this.
And that's very, very funny because, you know, there's always been that debate on, you know, to slate or not, to slate in the front, slate in the back. And I'll say 90% of the auditions now request no slating. Don't slate.
There we go.
Yes. Right,
there you go. That takes a second to get used. Yes. You heard it here.
Slate.
You heard it here, folks.
I mean, but, you know, I mean, seriously, you've got to, and Cam, I don't know if you've sat on auditions, and I'm sure, Jason, you have, but you've got 400 files in front of you.
Yeah.
You're like, how in the world? I mean, you're the engineer and it's your job and you're certainly engaged and all that, but how in the world am I going to get through 400 people telling me about my whatever?
Right.
And that adds 5 seconds, 10 seconds. And some people just have a party with their slate. And you're like, you know?
I'm Jason Crossman.
Speaking of, we got some great VO coaches. So,
yeah.
Jason,
great. Oh, thank you. Is this affecting the microphone?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know that anybody's going to really appreciate our humor, but guys, we're on point. Just saying.
So, what makes this is interesting because I'd like to ask the question from the point of view of not of the talent itself, but of the talent agents. What makes a good talent agency? Like, how are you successful? I mean, ranked in like the top one in IMDb. Like, what makes a successful talent agency?
Well, honest to engine, I mean, for me, it was the team. I had some of the most ambitious, wanting to help the talent team that I got to work with. I mean, I started at me and it was just me for a long time and I was okay. When I first started at me, the agency had really fallen off the radar and I had to bring it back up. And then I went through a rebranding where I went from the old name to TAG, the Atherton Group. And then, but I got really lucky, you know, there all along the way. I mean, there was Emily and there was James and then there was Jorge George, which one ever going to call him, and then Jimmy. And then there was a little unscrupulous business in the middle. But with all these people, they loved their people. And I think in terms of life, honestly, you got to love the people. You don't have to like them all the time. And man, they can certainly get on your nerves, but you're there. At least we were in a service role. And I always remind people, the agent works for you. You don't work for the agent. I know that there is an implied hierarchical poobah, but the reality is that we work for you. And so I think appreciating the human is probably the best thing for an agent to do. I know that sounds all hokey pokey, turn yourself around, but certainly you need negotiation skills, certainly, but again, negotiation skills. Way to go, Cam.
Wait, sorry, you didn't. Okay.
But negotiation skills.
That's what it's all about.
My chair won't do that.
Okay.
I'm gonna have an 8-pack from laughing. I'm just saying, oh, that's a good one. Please.
That's incredible. It seems to be what sets companies apart in every field is being service oriented and being customer focused. It's just, it's one of those things. And apparently, you think it'd be hard to find talent. there's so many. Being a director, I can't tell you how many people say, "Oh, my daughter is trying to act," or my cousin, or you need to see this. It's nonstop. No matter where you go, it's always. So how do you kind of how do you find the good talent? Where do you look?
Well, I got real fortunate. The agency really started booking with our small, and then we grew larger, and then we grew larger, and then we took an office at Austin Studios, and then we, really leaned into voiceover. And I had people that worked at the agency at that time, Jason, who just really dug it, and then I became more of a managing kind of person in there and helping with negotiations. But talent came to us. We got very fortunate. Talent came to us. We recruited a couple of big names. One of the first big names that signed with TAG as voiceover was Tom Kane. You don't know who Tom Kane is? R2D2C3PO. God bless him. And such a humanitarian, but he signed with us. And, once you have Tom Kane on your roster, the rest of the world's going, ooh la la. So and we got ooh la la a lot. And the same thing with our acting pool. I do have a real, sixth sense when it comes to bringing people on board, and especially on camera. Well, especially voiceover too. With voiceover, talk dirty to me, but with on the camera, sort of. Anyway, with on camera,
within reason.
No, not really. But
this is a disclaimer. Not all views espoused by our guest are held by entertainmentdudes.com.
Oh yeah, they are. Anyway, on camera meeting in person, we didn't always meet in person. Sometimes if they were out of town or we talk with them, but you just get a sense, especially with children, who's driving the train. And a child's an actor just like everybody else. And, the parent is the business partner and taxi driver. And you get a sense really quick of the parents that are coming in that are really trying to drive everything, including the acting. And, bless that child's heart. But I could pick the kids that I felt like were really in it because it's their passion. And we got lucky with some really, we booked a starring role in Super 8. We booked a starring role, and this is from Texas. We booked a starring role in Heroes. We booked, locally, we had 38 principal actors on Friday Night Lights. And we had some really, and of course, Nick, the other side of CastVoices has a starring role in The Descendants. So there were some really good things that made us look good, And I'll never forget, this is a really good, I think it's a sweet story. When Bria Grant, our talent, booked Heroes, and she was a starring role, she was encouraged to get a different LA agent. And someone in LA, and there's a debate whether that's right or wrong. But especially if you're in LA, I can't argue. But the casting team was like, we don't want to quit working with you. You guys are so fun and easy. And we're like, there's your compliment. Of course, it doesn't keep paying the lovely commission you can get off of a series regular. But, just good stuff. We just got lucky, and we were technically savvy.
And that's
so cool.
and that's almost a must in today's climate. And you were doing it way back when.
I know, I'm not quite sure how that happened. It's just an interest of mine, but I'm not trying to segue to CastVoices, and I don't want to necessarily stay there. But when we decided, we knew we were going to do a casting software. I started back in 95. We knew we were going to have casting software. I mean, we could have gone on camera or voiceover or, nudies. I don't know, but we chose on voiceover, and the specific reason, and it's biting me in the behind a little bit right now, because it's, we're just launched and there's stuff, and it's a technical program, but pardon me, we made the decision to go into voiceover on purpose, because the voiceover community live in front of their computers every day, and they're all quite savvy. They are, and they know what they're doing technically. And we thought, well, if anybody's going to blow holes in it, it's going to be our voiceover community, and we love our community, and we've built it for our community. And so that's where we are. And we are in the throes of, learning on a big scale, technically what it means. And so, yeah, it's been a fun run ish.
Well, let's talk about
ish. Yeah, there's always an ish in that development phase. It's fun, but sometimes.
No, and you were developing that a long time. I remember, emails back and forth and down to little teeny minute things, and presentation papers and funding, and I mean there's a lot that goes into it.
I don't know. I mean, I really look forward to, and I have them now, but not as much. I enjoy entrepreneurial conversations, because they're very different than I have with these kind of interviews. But entrepreneurial questions, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've started my second company. This one required going outside and getting funding. It's we're still now going for our second round of funding so that we can get cast actors out.
Mm-hmm.
We're purposefully not trying to drive revenue right now. Our only revenue stream comes from subscriptions. So we're purposefully not trying to do those right now, because we're still really trying to get projects to cross the platform. And I don't feel right saying, hey, come spend your money with CastVoices, if I don't, at least as part of the feature set, have a very robust casting arm. And we're working on that right now. And it's we launched during a pandemic, and I know that may not feel like that to all of the voiceover actors, but the standard, everything that feeds what the voiceover actors do had to really change. And getting in on commercials and all of that stuff, and everybody's working at home. It's not like I can go down to my local ad agency and say, use this. There's just been some interesting learning curves that have been fabulous. And but we're trying to do this while we're also scaling a platform that we tested the wazoo out of it, but not with 2,000 people.
Right.
But fortunately, I am so blessed by the voiceover community. Everybody has been really supportive. They jump to our defense. Not that we need defense, but they try to help explain. We're 65 days old. I mean, we're 2 years old. But we're 65 days old where the world is using us.
Right.
And decisions that you make when you're looking at a wireframe become different when they come into 3D. And because we were on a real accelerated development path, and with limited budget, we did this on a shoestring, all things considered. I mean, our investors might say it wasn't a shoestring. I think that they would agree. Our bang for the buck. And then the team that we worked with were phenomenal, but they way underbid. And here we are making concessions to get this out, and they're losing on their end a lot of money. So I learned, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be boring you with all these.
No, it doesn't bore it. No, we talk about whatever we want to, and this is fascinating. Exactly. This is really our whole platform is for industry professionals in different fields who want to learn something from other people who have done it. So we talk about whatever we want to, and it's fascinating to us. So that's great.
So we purposefully went with the VO community, and we've created this group for the VO user group, right? And everybody's very vocal. And I'm not trying to stop it. I'm not trying to get it to not happen, but I'm learning as a human being to have a much thicker skin, because I am so in the pulse of this project. It is in me that anytime there is a disparaging anything, and be fair and honest, there's not a lot of that. And I'm not trying to go, well, look at us. But anything, I didn't get an invite. Why didn't I get an invite? I take that shit, I'm sorry, stuff, and I'm like really backing up and going, okay, I need to understand where all the email that went out. How did this happen? I'm not programming it, but I'm really good at troubleshooting that level. But it hits on a lot of fronts, and far, I'm not trying to complain, but I find myself living in a headspace of this isn't working, instead of when, looky here, when, looky here, when, looky here. And I think that that's a commonality and a little bit of imposter syndrome. I mean, I'm well qualified to do what I'm doing, even run the company, but actually we're in 50 countries now, 50.
That's amazing.
I know, right? But when I kind of scooch back from the camera and go, oh, wait, what?
Right.
It's an interesting learning and journey.
And I didn't think about that part, especially being in the group. Like, and a lot of people aren't going, okay, this is working well and this is working. It's all about this feature's not working for me, or what's going on with this. And yes, you're very responsive and fix things very quickly, but yeah, there aren't a lot of people. They're concerned about what's not working and not celebrating what is working. And a ton is working. I mean, it's a beautiful platform. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, I really like that I can log in. That's a cool feature. Amazing.
This
See right here. Look at that sign in thing. Click the sign in, man.
Yeah, click that. Click the sign in. Okay, I'll sign in.
Yeah, look.
Whoops, that's not it.
Oh, that's on. Cam, it didn't even work. The sign.
No, it didn't even work. Oh
okay,
gosh,
sign up
hold on. No, I didn't want to sign up.
Look at this. You can sign up.
It's cool. Sign up and then sign in.
Yeah, and then you can see that feature. Look at this. You put your name in here and a password, and you're boom.
So there we go.
There you go. No, okay. I know I'm signing into. I'm going to do some voiceover work, Cam.
Yeah, look at that. And there's also some. Let's see.
Yeah,
here.
right here you can have all of your. Yeah, see, like you can put all your projects so that people can see what you've done inside of it.
Yeah, there's a submitted already. Look at that. So.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Yeah, talk about what went into the whole design of actually figuring out what to go on a profile page, and we're going to circle back to where this fits in the world of online casting. But since we're on the page right now, talk about that.
So, honest to goodness, the entire thought process behind this was making this a platform from the point of view of the talent. Okay? Eventually casting will just be one of the features. Okay?
All right.
So you've got casting, you're going to have a way to plug in a project yourself and figure out what you ought to be charging for rates, there's going to be chat rooms for each of the demo VO categories. I mean, we have plans. But we were like, what is important on a resume? And of course I had already built the one platform, and Nick had taken over as the CTO on the tag platform. Right. So we had a good idea of what worked. But I was like, I'm a feature whore. I like all that stuff on here. And so we're like, they should be able to put pictures. You go look at everybody else's resumes, and a lot of them have pictures of the projects they've worked with. Certainly demos. You got to have your demos up there. We want video feed up there.
Right.
And then behind the scenes and all that. Oh, and like all the resume entries. Wow, that's so impressive, Cam. Behind all
it just goes on and on. I'm like.
Well, I'm really glad you put that all in, because one of our sooner features, once we get through the hiccups of launch, is to put in a feature where you load all your buy dates. Okay. And I hate in perpetuity. That sucks for you. But on the rest of them, you load your buy dates, and you're going to get a prompt. If you're pro, you're going to get a prompt that says, hey, this buy date's coming up.
Okay.
You need an email. Do you want to rebuy a release? There is so much money left on the table because ads continue to run. And,
and how are you supposed to know if they keep running unless you have a way to track it?
That's a great feature.
Yeah, amazing.
That's an amazing feature.
So,
Cam and I were just talking about that yesterday, because I was doing some work, and he said, did you even have a close date feed? Like, I said, no, I didn't. And he's like, Well, yeah, you got to have that. You absolutely have to have that because of all that money that's just
I mean, I
bye.
stories and stories and stories of stuff like that. That's what agents are really good for too, because they kind of keep up on that stuff. But with the system, people, they're not happy about putting on your resume. So you don't have to. And for somebody like you, Kim, where it's just so long,
Mhm.
you can hide some of the
Yeah.
stuff that's relevant anymore. And that's the other thing we talked about, making these little eyes. And then what are we going to use for that? And I'll be very honest, and my team knows this, and I'm not discounting our service at all, but it branded different than I wanted. And that was a big learning curve for me. I had a really completely different idea in mind for the branding. And then the guy that branded it was also our UX UI developer, and he was from a company we hired. And so, there was a lot, and then he got pulled into the project, and there was just all this turmoil in the most creative piece of the product. And so what we're learning now is some of the things that we thought were going to be okay, we really want them different. And we'll learn through that. But some of, like some of the UX, user experience,
Right.
UI, user interface experience needs improvement. But we're in this, we got just Nick on it now, and it's a lot. But we'll get through it. I mean, and like I said, I'm so appreciative of the voiceover community because everybody's been really supportive. And I kind of varied off of the whole resume, but the whole thing was we came from the point of view of the actor with embedded tools behind it so that we could do something about it. And I mean, and just think about the kind of information we're going to have because of the way we've laid it out. I mean, we've laid it out like a true enterprise platform. So now, let's say, I mean, I have Liz's theory of economics. My theory of economics is when the industrials are indicative of a product launch in 8 to 9 months. Then there's a whole series of actor stuff in that, but it's also an indicator of the economy. If you get enough data on there, you can do some pretty interesting predictions. And I've always done that. But there's also things on there like everybody put in a Sennheiser 123, right? And the Sennheiser 123 was built I'm picking numbers, of course, 18 years ago, and its shelf life is 12 years. I mean, you can literally tell Sennheiser how many people in a statistical format are still using a Sennheiser 3. I mean, there's just some geeky stuff behind the scenes that just makes trend watching like really interesting. Out of the projects that have posted, and this one caught me completely by surprise, out of the projects, everybody's asking for demos instead of live auditions. Not everybody.
Really?
Through me. And I mean, I know that's typical in Europe, but see, isn't this interesting stuff?
Yes.
You get when you have a platform like that. We don't sell people stuff. I couldn't sign on for you unless you gave me your credentials. I don't get a notification of projects. We can go find a project, but it's not part of our workflow because that stuff's private. But the trend stuff I find interesting, and the demo stuff could have floored me. I mean, I'm so accustomed to people asking for auditions because they can, and we've got these people, these home studios that just crank out the most amazing stuff.
Thank you.
You did, Mike. Huge fan. But now after demos, and you know what that tells me? As soon as that gets on the wire, and I've actually mentioned a couple places, demo producers, they're about to get real busy, not because I said it, but because it's what's happening in the trend.
Right.
At least in my teeny weeny little trend. And I find that kind of data pull from the system. And I think numbers like that are interesting to see. And sometimes they're meaningful.
We're running a little short of.
Funny because
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say that's interesting from a director standpoint. Being a director, I like having the option too of I like hearing multiple things that they can do, and I enjoy that whether I'm on backstage or whether we're in a live audition, or I like being able to see a sampling of what they're capable of. So because not even just this project, I'm always thinking of I have other things working. So even if I can hear something, I might be like, I might say, hey, they'd actually be fantastic for this project.
Oh,
I'm always thinking of that.
And I know, Cam, we're running really short of time, but I do want to mention something. Nick has built a program that is going to help with trend picking out of scripts.
Oh, cool.
I mean, he's brilliant. So I think you're going to really like his little fancy tool.
I can't tell you the amount of times, though, that I've booked a project and then gotten into the studio and the outcome is completely different than what was booked. So I would think that the showing the range of what a person can do is great.
Yeah. I mean, of course, that's why you get all that stuff on the resume, and they go click it. And that's why we just did a soundbite contest. Which has ended up becoming this amazing, or maybe not, coaching session for people and everything they sent in. And I'm like, that's going to take me hours and hours and hours, but I'm going to do it. And they can choose to listen or not.
That's that little icon right there by the picture.
Where's that?
This
Where's
won't
that?
play. This won't play through the actual software, but this little icon you can hit, and then it will. Let's see here. You can see that it like actually plays.
Yeah, that one.
So
that's a feature that we invented, and it kind of came from where I used to do the tags.
That's just your reel, right?
It's no. It's like a little snippet of who you are, and like you said, it was right from the tag site.
Yeah, it's intended to be this little snippet. Hey, I'm Cam. I live in Tennessee. I love to fish. I mean, that's too short. Or Cam could be interviewing himself or whatever. It's not really intended to be the sell. They're already on a website. You don't need to say, hey, I can do your voiceover. They know that.
Right.
But it's a really interesting little thing, and it's on our pro feature. But we're giving away one, so I put out this contest for people to send me theirs, and out of the 150 that I received, I think seriously right now 3 or 4 were sound bites. So I learned from that experience that I didn't spec it fair. I didn't spec it enough, and the talent, and we got some UX, UI, some stuff out of the way. It was a real great experience. I wasn't expecting all that hindsight and wonderfulness, but it happened. And, I can't help but be an agent, and I have a pretty good ear of helping talent with their stuff. And I do it for free. I just enjoy it. So
where does CastVoices sit within the realm of the actor agent relationship, the actor pay to play relationship? So you've got Voice 123 and all these sites, then you've got agents on the other side, and CastVoices is kind of here in the, because you're integrating agents, but you're also doing direct casting. And tell me where it actually sits in that whole realm.
Transparent.
Okay.
I mean, that would be the word. We don't get in between people. We're a tool. I keep reminding people we are a tool. We have been built to help. Well, a tool with some warm bodies behind it trying to make it happen. But we're a tool for casting, really and truly. And the actors get the benefit of us being a tool for casting. Because if a casting director now is using Dropbox, or they're using email, or they're using all these other features, that certainly works. But at some point that goes away, and it's not protected necessarily. I guess it could be protected, but it's not like what we've got, where you've got your entire project detail at your fingertips, and it'll run it for you, and it'll go across a platform, like I said, in 50 countries. It'll go across and pick a lot of talent for you to listen to. And then the features of the resume and stuff, or the profile, is that you can click on your image when you send in that audition, and that casting director can go directly to you, which is cool. So they get to have your whole thing. But we're not a fiduciary. We're not protecting anybody's identity. That's up to them. We're just a tool. We're a really efficient tool, but that's where we want our place to be.
And you've got a free tier, and that does not keep you from getting auditions, unlike other online.
Yeah,
sources.
no. And this is where people argue that we're a P2P, but I disagree. But where they argue is like, if you want a free one, come on, you get one demo and you get one headshot. And with your one demo and one headshot, and on the demo, you can put on, this is true across all tiers, on your demo, you can put up to 3 categories, right? So what happens is that, and this is where it is becoming more interesting with everybody looking for demos. Casting director sits down, says, I want to book off demos, or copy. So they choose demos, and they can choose the categories. Well, Cam, who has 10 demos with 3 categories each, he's got at least whatever 10 to the pi, or whatever that, the exclamation point. You got infinite, many chances, right? See, there's
Right.
there's all those demos. So now, if you compare yourself, and you're upgraded, right?
I am, yes.
So, but if you're a freebie, you only get one of those. And if you only get one of those, and the casting director, your chances of that particular demo being chosen and then matched are not as prevalent as somebody with 10 options or 100 demos, whatever.
And you match through the categories and the tags as far as casting on those demos?
Tags are simply for your external SEO.
Okay.
You match the demos, and then right now we had a real loose match because lots of reasons, but we're implementing and they're rolling up in the next week or two additional criteria so the casting director can narrow down who gets the invitation. And it's going to be on things like languages, accents. We already have vocal age range in there, but it's going to narrow it down to that. There's some other criteria that we're going to really, they can now say, I only want to invite people within this radius of a zip code, but they're not using that feature. And so they don't use the feature, talent get an invite because they had the other criteria. And they're like, why did I get an invite when it says LA only? Well, it's not because the system's bad. It's because the user made a decision to do it this way. So, we have a lot of education, and it really stems from really trying to standardize the casting input. And that we're taking that battle on. And it's a big, not necessarily battle, but it's a challenge because an ad agency may only give you this much information, and a casting director is going to give you this much information. All this is going to go around, but we make the important information required. What's the pay? How many spots? Where's your media? Where's it going to play? What's the buy? All that stuff is required input so that we, you get it. You get that information in your inbox when you get invited to the project. So, we did a lot of it from the point of view of the talent and from the point of view of the agent, not the point of view of the ad agency, although that's important. But ad agency is simply, they're doing a task. So we're giving them a really cool tool to do the task. And the cooler the tool with the more stuff required, the better the matches, the better the talent. It's just going to narrow, it's going to be a productivity boon to your work time.
Well, it's a really cool platform, and what I've loved, I've seen that floating around, is it's not pay to play, but it's play to market.
Yeah,
so,
I think it is.
Yeah. So people that might confuse it with a Voice 1, 2, 3 or something like that, it's not. It's a totally different animal, and a great platform to just so easy to use, so ergonomic, and I'm so thankful that this is out here. And you've always been just one of my favorite people.
Oh,
and just thank you for this. I love Fest. Everybody hug. Come in for a hug.
Too close, a little too close.
We are out of time. We're out of time, and it's gone so quickly. I'm looking at my timer over here.
Thank you. What a fun way to spend a couple hours or an hour, however long we've been doing this.
17 hours.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Such incredible human beings. I certainly have enjoyed this. And thanks for the great questions and giving me the opportunity to highlight what we got going on. And
exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Well, maybe it'd be really fun to get you on again at some point, even to talk even more about agency stuff. And then when you get your other part, Actors Launch, at what you've discovered, where the platform is. So it'd be real fun to have you back on to say, hey, let's see where we are, a year from now or 6 months.
And rates. I mean, there's all kinds of topics to cover. So
I am happy to do that. Anytime you got one, I've got a little bit of experience with it. You're so funny. And if I quit eating carbs, maybe I won't have to do this.
Or you could grow a beard and just cover the
beard. You could even have a fake beard. I mean, maybe our whole next interview we'll just all have really long, thick beards.
The entertainment beards.
The entertainment beards.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Liz.
Yes, folks. It was wonderful meeting you. It just absolutely. Cam was right. You're spectacular.
You're awesome too. Y'all.
Am I ever wrong?
Do we really need to answer that live? I mean, we're recording.
Well, we'll wait until after the show.
Off the record.
You can
off the record.
Talk to me
I'll
quietly.
Yeah, there's a lot. I've got
Cam in my office.
I've got a list, Cam. I've been keeping track of. We'll talk off air.
Don't be cross, man. Oh, that was really bad. Okay, when we get to old dad jokes, it's time to actually close the show. So this has been Entertainment Dudes with the lovely and talented Liz Atherton of CastVoices. Thank you for joining us today, and we will be back with another fun and can you come up with another word, Jason? Another fun and
exciting. Yes,
exciting. Another fun and exciting episode of the Entertainment Dudes.
Yes.